Hello mates, welcome to Budgie Gaming. I am your host Finley. Before I get started, I'd like to thank you for joining me and watching my first video. Hopefully this is the start of many fun things to come. If you'd like to support a new channel that is operated by a cheeky little budgie, please hit that like button, subscribe button and notification bell so you'll know when I release new content. Today I want to talk about accessories for the Nintendo Switch 2. Now that the system is released, I've been noticing a lot of videos informing future Switch 2 owners on everything they should buy for their new system. Well, luckily I'm here to do the exact opposite. Let's be real. If you're buying a Switch 2, you're most likely spending a minimum of $600. Depending on how many games, accessories, or your location, you will easily be spending well over $1,000. Add to the fact that a majority of new games will be $60 to $80. We all need to save money wherever we possibly can. So, I'm here to encourage you to not spend money on useless shit you don't need for your new system. This way, you can hopefully get the full enjoyment out of it without any regrets. Real quick before I get started, I would avoid buying most, if not all, accessories from Amazon. I've seen some items labeled as Switch 2 accessories, even though it was designed for the original Switch. Since they're different sizes, this could become an issue, especially when it comes to items such as travel cases and screen protectors. All right now, let's get to it. The first item on the list, memory cards. Nintendo decided to go the route of using very particular memory cards this time around, because apparently someone decided that it worked out so well for the Sony Vita. Nintendo should follow suit. They're using the micro SD Express card exclusively. From my understanding, their speeds are far superior when compared to the memory cards used for the original Switch, but they're also quite pricey. The cheapest is the 256GB version, around $60, and the most expensive version I could find was a 1TB version, around $200. Judging by the size of third-party games for the Switch 2, you'll be better off getting the largest memory card possible to future-proof your console. That is, whenever you do decide to buy a memory card. Assuming you can even find one in stock, because right now they're pretty hard to find. A real quick side note, when you do get a memory card, make sure it has the little EX symbol that you see on the bottom right of the memory card. Otherwise, it won't be compatible with your Switch 2. But since you're just getting the console and will have very few games for it, do you really need a memory card? I honestly think you do not. Even if you import all your original Switch games, the chances of those games along with your new Switch 2 games using all of the system's 256GB is highly unlikely. With the average file size of original Switch games being around 10GB, you should be absolutely fine with the system's storage for a few months. I realize this isn't the case for everyone, especially people with large collections. But it is pretty unlikely the average Switch user will have such a massive collection. If possible, try to hold off on buying a memory card until the holiday season when there is a better chance of getting one of these on sale. Because you will need a memory card eventually, just not right away. Also, try to avoid buying games with massive file sizes like Split Fiction, Hitman or Madden. If you don't game exclusively on the Switch 2, these games will play better and be much cheaper on other platforms anyway. I'll also be making a video as to why you shouldn't be buying the games I just mentioned, along with many others on the Switch 2 very shortly. So be sure to be on the lookout for that video. Next up, I want to talk about storage cases and travel packs, but I particularly want to talk about the case that is listed for $85. For starters, that is expensive for an ugly-looking bag. Secondly, that massive bag only carries 6 games. I know the appeal for this item is to carry your wires and extra controllers, but holy shit, even cheaper and much smaller cases can carry 12 games. Also, the last thing anyone needs on their bag is a massive Switch 2 logo. Nothing screams "mug me" louder than letting everyone on the bus know you're carrying at least $1,000 worth of goods. There are already a few companies designing carry cases for the Switch 2, such as the Waterfield company. They are a bit pricey, but they do appear to be a high-quality item that appeals to many different lifestyles, including vegans, which I thought was pretty cool. And most importantly, it looks like a basic bag, so no one will instantly know the contents of your bag. Just a heads up, I'm in no way endorsing this brand or product. I've never even used this company, nor am I being sponsored by them. I was just using them as an example to let you know that companies are making much nicer and less obvious carrying cases compared to what Nintendo is making. Next up is the Nintendo Switch 2 AC adapter. Have you bought a newer Apple product in the last couple of years? How about an Android phone, a portable fan, a tablet, maybe a charger for your PlayStation 5 or Xbox controller? Have you bought anything else that requires you to charge said item with a USB-C charger? If you answered yes to any of these questions, use that charger instead and save yourself the $35. Hell, even the Pro controller comes with a USB-C cable, which could be used to charge the system if you really need it. Also, rumors are that the Switch 2 battery life can't even hit 3 hours in handheld mode. You'd be better off spending that $35 on a portable battery charger, which, ironically, usually comes with a USB-C charger as well. Next up is the camera. This item is going to be forgotten about by the end of this year. For starters, the quality looks awful when using it during online play. Plus, the camera takes up about a third of your screen. No one wants to see your 15 frames per second screen share taking up a third of their screen, and no one wants to see your stupid 240p face while they're playing a game anyway. Not to mention, Mario Party, the only game that has shown the camera being used for gameplay purposes, looks pretty shitty. Which is a shame because I love the recent Mario Party game, but this DLC looks pretty bad. The mini-games that use the mouse looks fun, but the camera mini-games... Yikes. Save the $60 and pass on this. Though I will admit I'm tempted to get the Piranha camera because it's adorable, but not $60 adorable. Next up are thumbsticks. I know some people swear by these things, but my God, at least know how the controller feels before you go out and buy any of these. Next, I want to talk about Joy-Con straps. If you really need these, you need to calm the fuck down while playing a game. That's all I had to say about Joy-Con straps. The last thing I want to talk about is split into 2 sections and does come with a caveat. The first portion are all third-party controllers. I understand the need for more controllers, especially if you plan on playing with friends and family. But no one knows the quality of any of these controllers yet. So, don't be a guinea pig, and don't buy any third-party controllers until you see some reviews. You're already spending enough money on the system and games, so you don't need to get stuck with a shitty controller. The next portion are first-party controllers. On one hand, I understand wanting to get these controllers for either the mouse support or the mappable buttons on the Pro controller. But is it something you really need, especially for $90 or more? Don't forget that the Switch 2 can use the original Switch controllers. Also, don't forget that the system does come with a pair of Joy-Cons. So if you still have some original Switch controllers laying around, you can save yourself nearly $100 and just use what you have. I realize you can't use voice or video chat with the old Switch controllers, but I think we all know how I feel about that. Before I leave, I feel like I should mention that I'm not telling you what you should and shouldn't buy. Do you want that god-awful looking $85 carry case? Go for it. Are you dying to try out that shitty camera? Treat yourself and do it. I won't judge you. Well, not too harshly anyway. I'm just trying to get you to think twice before you spend your hard-earned money on items you may not need. All right now, with that said, how do you feel about the Switch 2 accessories? Are there any you absolutely need? Are there any that you find useless like I do? Let me know down in the comments below. Until next time, take care, mates.